Have you ever wondered what truly happened behind Hollywood's velvet curtains? The glittering image of the golden age was carefully crafted to captivate audiences worldwide, but beneath the charm and allure, a darker side simmered. From dangerous desires to scandalous affairs, some of the era's most iconic stars were whispered to have crossed lines no one dared speak about. Tabloids of the time hinted at untamed appetites, clandestine romances, and wild parties that never made it onto the silver screen. The studios fought hard to preserve a pristine facade, yet rumors persisted that behind every glowing smile was a hidden secret waiting to explode into public view. In this video, we're peeling back that polished veneer. You'll hear about famous faces who risk their reputations and sometimes their sanity in a quest for power, passion, or simply the thrill of it all. Our journey into old Hollywood's shadowy secrets may change the way you see these icons forever. By the end, you'll realize that for many legendary stars, the real drama didn't happen on camera. It unfolded in hidden hotel suites, secluded mansions, and after-hours clubs where no reporter dared to tread. Stick around because the most shocking stories are the ones they never wanted you to know. Elizabeth Taylor was the ultimate embodiment of Hollywood opulence, and her romantic life often proved to be as dramatic as the films she starred in. Though she married 8 times, it was her explosive affair with Richard Burton that seized headlines worldwide. The two met on the set of Cleopatra, both wed to other partners, and their bond quickly became a headline-making obsession. Paparazzi trailed them across Europe, capturing images of the couple locked in public spats and passionate reconciliations, fueling global fascination like never before. Their tempestuous bond was characterized by lavish gifts, roaring arguments, and glamorous makeups, all amplified by the media's insatiable appetite for scandal. Taylor was no stranger to controversy. Her earlier relationship with Eddie Fisher, who famously left Debbie Reynolds to be with her, had already cemented her reputation as a ruthless heartbreaker in the tabloids. Yet Elizabeth refused to tone down her impulses, unapologetically chasing the grand passion she believed in. For her fans, Taylor was both an object of admiration and speculation. Did her relentless quest for love reveal a free spirit or an unquenchable need for validation? The debate rages on, but one thing remains certain: her fiery relationships forever altered the public's perception of Hollywood royalty. Ingrid Bergman was revered for her luminous presence and natural acting style, captivating audiences in classics like Casablanca and Notorious. Yet, behind her angelic face and refined European charm lay a fierce determination to follow her heart, no matter the social cost. The most infamous chapter of her life erupted when she pursued a scandalous affair with director Roberto Rossellini while she was still married. Their child, born out of wedlock, sparked such a firestorm in the United States that Bergman was singled out by the U.S. Senate, condemned as a morally corrupt figure unworthy of her once spotless image. Overnight, she transformed from a cherished star into a cultural pariah, her reputation shattered in a hailstorm of public outrage. Still, Bergman remained steadfast, continuing to collaborate with Rossellini on films that challenged convention and revealed new layers of her artistic depth. In time, some admirers came to respect her audacity, even as her personal choices collided with society's strict expectations. Bergman's life became a testament to both the cost of uncompromising passion and the fragility of public favor. Decades later, film devotees still debate whether her unyielding commitment to love and authenticity ultimately overshadowed the judgment she endured, and whether Hollywood was ever prepared for someone who refused to be anything less than herself. Lana Turner was the embodiment of classic Hollywood glamour, but her personal life often veered into dangerous territory. Her on-again, off-again romance with mobster Johnny Stompanato stood out as one of Tinseltown's most scandalous affairs, fueled by high-stakes passion and bruising arguments. Behind the scenes, rumors abounded that Stompanato's criminal connections gave him a menacing hold over Turner. Their volatile relationship eventually erupted into a shocking incident that ended in tragedy when Turner's daughter took desperate action to protect her mother. Yet, that wasn't the only reason Lana's name filled the gossip columns. She had multiple marriages, each ending in its own whirlwind of chaos and heartbreak, and her penchant for headline-grabbing romances made her a tabloid fixture. Despite living under the constant glare of paparazzi and scandal, Turner never lost her magnetic allure. In a world where reputations meant everything, her bold approach to love and life confirmed she had no intention of playing by Hollywood's rules. Errol Flynn projected an effortless charm and sense of adventure on screen, captivating audiences with his swashbuckling roles and devil-may-care smile. Yet away from the cameras, his life was an unending carnival of indulgence. He surrounded himself with all the hedonistic thrills Hollywood's golden age had to offer, savoring every moment without regard for the consequences. Friends and onlookers whispered that his notorious appetite for danger extended far beyond sword fights and pirate ships. He was said to chase excitement wherever it might lead, especially if it involved beautiful companions who flattered his ego. For all his gallant on-screen heroics, a darker reputation took shape when accusations surfaced that he'd entangled himself with minors. The scandal erupted into a 1942 trial that enthralled the public, further magnified by salacious headlines and relentless gossip. Although he was ultimately cleared of wrongdoing, the damage to his image was done. Ever the performer, Flynn didn't let the scandal dull his pursuit of pleasure. Instead, he hosted legendary parties at his estate, Mallon Farm, where invitees mingled until dawn in what some described as feverish soiree, awash in alcohol, substances, and taboo encounters. Despite the cloud over his reputation, Flynn's star power didn't wane. His films continued to attract massive audiences, and the phrase "in like Flynn" became a byword for quick success and effortless charisma. In a town built on illusions, he became the poster child for living large and risking everything to feel truly alive. With each new headline, he pushed the limits, challenging Hollywood's carefully maintained veneer and forcing the public to confront the possibility that their beloved adventure star lived a life more outrageous than any role he could ever play on screen. Even decades later, Errol Flynn's name remains synonymous with old Hollywood excess, a symbol of how seductive glamour can veer into darkness when the lines between reality and fantasy blur. Marilyn Monroe dazzled the world with her breathy voice, platinum curls, and heartbreaking innocence. Underneath that carefully crafted image lay a storm of insecurities, desperate yearnings, and unresolved traumas. While Hollywood sold her as the ultimate seductress, Monroe craved genuine love and acceptance, two things she often sought from the most powerful men in the country. Rumors of her affair with a certain high-profile political figure only further blurred the line between fantasy and scandal, sparking questions about how deeply she might have been entangled in matters far beyond the bright lights of the studio. She became a magnet for headlines, especially after her sultry happy birthday performance, which hinted that her private life was just as dramatic as her on-screen roles. Despite her fame, Monroe wrestled with crippling anxiety and a constant fear of abandonment. Friends confided that she was caught in a cycle, searching for safety in relationships that rarely lasted, which fueled the tabloids labeling her as insatiable. In the end, Marilyn's luminous presence and tragic vulnerabilities fused into a legacy that still captivates and haunts Hollywood to this day. But she wasn't the only legend whose personal life teetered on the brink of chaos. Veronica Lake's signature peekaboo hairstyle and smoldering gaze quickly turned her into one of Hollywood's most alluring film noir darlings, mesmerizing audiences in the early 1940s. Behind that sultry exterior, however, was a woman grappling with harsh realities that fame couldn't soften. Her roles as the enigmatic femme fatale on screen belied a personal life fraught with conflict, including multiple marriages that ended in turbulence and heartbreak. Many who worked with her remarked on Lake's sharp wit and undeniable talent, but whispers abounded that she could be prickly on set, especially when wresting control of her own narrative in a male-dominated industry. Outside the spotlight, Lake reportedly battled emotional difficulties and alcohol abuse, a struggle that newspapers hungry for sensational stories seized upon. As her star power waned, the industry's harsh underbelly revealed itself. Fewer calls for leading roles, mounting debts, and an air of disillusionment that lingered long after the cameras stopped rolling. Yet she was never one to completely disappear into the shadows. Even as tabloids churned out stories of her decline, she maintained that spark of rebellious independence which first made her famous. In time, Veronica Lake's life became a cautionary tale, a potent reminder that old Hollywood's glitz could be a fleeting mirage, and few truly escaped its demanding illusions unscathed. Joan Crawford personified relentless ambition in old Hollywood. She wasn't just a glamorous icon, she was a force of nature who supposedly used romantic entanglements to catapult herself to the top. Rumors swirled that Crawford seduced powerful studio heads for favorable contracts, while behind the scenes, whispers of her flings with other actresses lit up private parties. The studios tried to control her image, but her personal life still sparked countless headlines, especially when word spread that her affections didn't discriminate between men or women. Beyond the gossip, Crawford's steely determination defined her as a star who stopped at nothing to stay in the spotlight. That uncompromising drive gave her an edge, but it also fueled speculation that sex was her secret weapon. Even today, fans and Hollywood historians alike debate the truth behind the tales of endless affairs that once rocked the industry. Yet Crawford's story goes far beyond the rumors. Her impact on film history remains undeniable, whether you believe the salacious stories or not. Hedy Lamarr embodied a hypnotic mix of elegance and audacity, mesmerizing moviegoers with her exotic looks while charting a rebellious personal path behind closed doors. She soared to fame with roles that capitalized on her glamorous aura, but her off-screen exploits sparked endless whispers. The day she bared it all in the 1933 film Ecstasy, she shattered cinematic taboos and forged an image that would remain delightfully unpredictable. Rumored romances with Hollywood's most influential figures only deepened her mystique, prompting gossip hounds to label her an insatiable free spirit, in an era that demanded female stars adhere to spotless reputations. But it wasn't just allure that defined Lamarr. She also demonstrated remarkable genius. Long before Wi-Fi or Bluetooth became essential to everyday life, Hedy co-invented a groundbreaking frequency-hopping technique that astounded scientists and paved the way for modern communication. Despite these achievements, the industry often seemed fixated on her captivating beauty and provocative choices, eclipsing her technical brilliance in a haze of hearsay. Multiple marriages and tantalizing rumors about wild soirees at her private gatherings ensured her name remained a tabloid staple, weaving a dual narrative of pioneering inventor and dangerously enchanting icon. Even today, Lamarr's story stands as a testament to how old Hollywood's brightest stars could be both admired and misunderstood, each layer of their lives sparking new questions about the price of fame. Tallulah Bankhead thrived on creating a stir in an era when most stars were desperate to protect their spotless images. She made no secret of her attraction to both men and women, and her legendary house parties were notorious for blurring every line society tried to draw. Friends and co-stars admired her fearless wit, but producers worried her outspoken ways might scandalize an already wary public. As whispers circulated about her flamboyant lifestyle, complete with frequent lovers and a penchant for hard living, Bankhead never once backed down. She famously quipped that she was as bad as the worst, but thank God as good as the best, hinting at the wild duality of a woman who refused to hide who she really was. Her brazen honesty shocked audiences and intrigued fellow actors, influencing later stars who also pushed boundaries in their quest for authenticity. But while Bankhead's life epitomized carefree indulgence, another icon would soon gain worldwide fame for mixing undeniable allure with heartbreaking vulnerability. Ava Gardner was the perfect blend of irresistible charm and unapologetic daring. Her marriage to Frank Sinatra practically exploded with intensity, stoking endless headlines about their heated arguments and wild jealousies. Friends whispered that the passion between them was both intoxicating and combustible, a storm they simply couldn't control. But Ava's escapades weren't limited to Hollywood's bright lights. She famously courted Spanish bullfighters, embracing the country's fervor and reveling in the thrill of living on the edge. Her fearless spirit and refusal to conform made her a living emblem of sexual liberation, long before that term was common currency. It was this brazen authenticity that turned heads around the world and inspired countless imitators. Yet for all her boldness, some Tinseltown stars found even riskier paths, plunging deeper into scandal and danger than most dared to imagine. Joan Blondell radiated a relatable warmth that endeared her to Depression-era audiences, even as she played the wisecracking sidekick in countless films. Underneath her snappy dialogue and good-natured humor, however, was a fiercely independent spirit that set her apart from more convention-bound starlets of her time. While Hollywood pushed its leading ladies to be demure and delicate, Blondell had no qualms about voicing her opinions or shaping her own destiny. Her personal life reflected that determination. Multiple marriages and rumored affairs frequently kept her name circulating in the industry's chattering grapevine. From a young age, Blondell understood show business, having toured with vaudeville troupes long before landing in Tinseltown. This background gave her a pragmatism and resilience that helped her handle studio politics and the intense public scrutiny that came with fame. Friends whispered that she relished the freedom of forging her own path, refusing to let any single relationship or scandal define her. While some leading ladies towed the line to preserve their pristine reputation, Blondell wasn't afraid to embrace her autonomy, and that meant disregarding the era's rigid rules, both in love and career choices. This unapologetic streak elevated Blondell above mere gossip, leaving an enduring impression of a woman who balanced playful charisma on screen with a resolute commitment to living life on her own uncompromising terms. Vivien Leigh possessed a delicate beauty and an uncanny ability to disappear into her roles, mesmerizing audiences in classics like Gone with the Wind and A Streetcar Named Desire. Yet the grace she displayed on camera belied a turbulent personal life, often dictated by intense mood swings and erratic impulses. Married to Laurence Olivier, an acting legend in his own right, Leigh initially seemed destined for the kind of power couple status that Hollywood adores. Behind their polished images, however, lingered whispers of fractures in their relationship, fueled by her unpredictable behavior and rumored affairs. Some insiders claimed that her manic episodes propelled her into secret trysts, while others believed she merely sought an escape from the overwhelming demands of stardom. Friends remarked that Leigh's passions were genuine but intense, erupting in bursts of both creativity and despair that shaped her every decision. Despite these challenges, she continued to deliver captivating performances that left critics and fans spellbound. Even now, her legacy is a testament to the fragile line between brilliance and torment, an enduring reminder that behind Hollywood's shimmering facade, the reality of a star's life can be far more complicated and heartbreakingly human. As we pull back from the tangled lives of these iconic stars, one thing becomes clear. The glamour of old Hollywood was often woven from secrets, deals in the shadows, and desires burning just out of sight. Some of these legends use scandal as a stepping stone to fame, while others seem trapped in a cycle of obsession and heartbreak. Their stories, marked by daring affairs, hidden urges, and relentless ambition, forever changed our understanding of movie star mystique. Yet for all the tabloid frenzy and studio damage control, these notorious tales hint at a deeper question. Do we ever truly know what goes on behind closed doors? Even today, our fascination with celebrity remains as potent as ever, and it's easy to wonder whether similar scandals continue to brew under the surface of modern fame. Perhaps the real lesson here is that desire, ambition, and vulnerability are timeless forces, ones that Hollywood can conceal for only so long.